Today we're reviewing how to determine the equation of a line. If you're given the slope and the y-intercept, you can state the equation of a line in the form y equals mx plus b. The m is your slope and your b is your y-intercept. So our slope is our m, our y-intercept is our b value. So when we go to state the equation then, we just start with y, we have our equal sign, the m becomes the value that we have in this column here, which is 3. And then we have our x, so that multiplies the independent variable, and then we have add -1. If you're adding negative, it's just like subtracting, so it's subtract 1. Try the rest, put me on pause, and then you can check your work. Okay, if you check your work here, you should have y equals -5x, subtract 2, y equals 2/3 x plus 8, and y equals -6/5x plus 4/7. Okay, moving into the next part, part B, given a slope and any point. It's never, well, rarely easy that you can just come up with the slope and the y-intercept and be done. Sometimes some scenarios do lend themselves well to that, but not every time. So question 2 here, show that the point 6, 2 lies on the line y equals x take away 4. So this isn't the actual process, I'm just leading into why this works, why the process actually works. We know that if the point 6, 2 lies on this equation, this line here, y equals x take away 4, it will make the equation true. So we can check and see, does the point 6, 2 actually make the equation true? On the left side of the equal sign, we have y, we have our equal signs here, and then x minus 4 is on the right side of the equal sign. So I'm just taking my equation right here and separating it kind of into two pieces based on the equal sign there. Then I'm going to take my point 6, 2 and sub the values in for x and for y. So the 6 is the x value, comes alphabetically, and the y is the 2. So on the left side, if we had just a y, the left side would be equal to 2. On the right side, we had x take away 4, which subbing in the value of x of 6, we have 6 take away 4, which is 2. So this gives us that the left side is equal to the right side, and that makes my equation true. We know that that point does lie on the line. Therefore, 6, 2 lies on the line. Okay, we're going to use this premise in actually coming up with the equation of the line if we're given the slope at any point. Okay, determine the equation of the line that has a slope of 3. So slope of 3, that tells me right away that m is equal to 3 in my y equals mx plus b. And it passes through the point 4, which is the x, comma 5, which is the y. What we do is we start with the equation y equals mx plus b. We're going to sub that slope value in. We know exactly where that goes. It goes for mx plus b. Then what we're going to do, we don't know the b value yet, but we know that the x and the y will make this equation true. The 4 for the x and the 5 for the y. So we're going to put 5 in for the y because it is a point on my line. It has to make my equation true. We're going to put 4 in for the x, and then we have our plus b. What we do is we solve this equation now for b. I have to multiply these guys first. So 3 times 4 is 12. And then I want to isolate for b. I'm going to undo that plus 12 by subtracting 12 from both sides of my equation. So subtract 12 here and subtract 12 there. Here a 12, there a 12, everywhere a 12, 12. Just kidding. That's going to give us 5 take away 12. That's -7. And that's equal to the b value. So now we're ready to state the equation of the line. We know that y is equal to, my slope is 3, so 3x, and my b is -7. So adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting 7. And there we have our equation. Moving on to the next slide. Determine the equation of a line with a slope of 2/3 and passing through this point. Put me on pause, try it out yourself, and then see if you get it right. Okay, if we sub in our value of slope, we should have y equals 2/3 x plus b. I'm going to put 6 in for the x and 11 in for the y. So we're going to have 11 equal to 2/3 times 6 plus b, or 2/3 of 6. 2/3 of 6 is actually 4. So y equals 4 plus b. I'm going to subtract 4 to get the b by itself. Subtract 4 from both sides. 11 take away 4 is 7 equals b. I think I like the number 7. Y equals 2/3 x plus 7. Last example was a minus 7. This one's a plus 7, just by chance. Okay, next one, reviewing how to get the equation of line if you're just given 2 points. In the previous examples, we had to have our slope. And if you remember, we are able to calculate the slope by doing the difference in our y values, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or some of you may have had that as an ya minus yb. So the y value from point A minus the y value from point B, all divided by the x value from point A minus the x value from point B. That's really your rise and your run. So pick your formula, whichever one you want to use. It doesn't really matter. It matters mostly that you're consistent. So I'm going to go with the x1 and y1 here, and x2 and y2 here. So I'm going to take 165 and subtract 35 from it, and then divide that by 7, take away 3. Let's see what we get here. 130, I believe that is. 165, take away 35 is 130, and then 7 take away 3 is a 4. And I'm just going to grab my calculator, double check my calculations because I'd hate to make the video and then find out I goofed. And I get a 32.5. Doesn't go nicely. That's going to reduce to 65 over 2. Again, I'm just double checking my calculations. So I'm going to leave these in fraction form so that I do have the rise and the run. If it's context, like we were talking about money, of course you would take it to a decimal because that would make more sense. All right, so now we have our slope value. This is my m right here. It's the same question as the one above now. Now that I know my slope, so I start with y equals 65 over 2 x plus b, and then I pick a point. It doesn't matter which one, but just pick one of them. Don't take the x from one and the y from the other. I'm going to pick this one because the numbers are smaller. I'm going to put 35 in for my y, and I'm going to sub 3 in for the x, and then I'm going to calculate for b. Now, this doesn't work out as nice. I'm going to leave it in fraction form. 65 times 3, I get 195 over 2. You can go to decimals if you'd rather, because these work out nice in terms of terminating decimals. They're non-repeating. In terms of working with decimals, I'm going to get a common denominator here. 35 over 1 is going to become a 70 over 2. I'm just multiplying top and bottom by 2. Times by 2, top and bottom. Those are little dots for multiply. And at the same time, I had a plus 195 over 2 on the right side, so I'm going to undo that by subtracting 195 over 2 on both sides. So if I have 70 and I subtract 195, I get 125. So b is equal to 125 over 2. So my equation, therefore, my equation is y equals, my slope was 65 over 2, x, and then plus 125 over 2. Go ahead and try the next questions on the next page, and then I will make another video with the solutions for those.